Hi, I'm Mackenzie, and today in our 20-minute practice together, we'll continue to practice feeling the free flow of our breath and extending that same sense of free flow into the rest of our body. And again, this comes from the teaching of Master Wancho Park, where we can understand that every flow, whether it's a flow of air or a flow in our muscles or even our bones, that everything is made up of fully contained parts, fully contained smaller parts. And this is what is meant by every flow is made up of finer flows. The freedom of that, of this parts whole cascade that we are a part of. And so sometimes this can be easiest to feel the freedom of flow in the flow of air, which is very light, very free, in that typical way that we feel it. And so we'll begin by just some overall feeling of the breath, and then hone in on the sensations of free flow at our nose, and then see how we can extend that more to the rest of our breathing, including the cascade and undulations of our torso as it breathes. And who knows where else we might go by the end of this. So that will be the quote game plan. So welcome to sit however is comfortable, and it definitely doesn't have to be cross-legged. And just let the hands rest however is comfortable for you today. And either letting the gaze be soft, or can close the eyes. And just starting by taking a couple of deeper breaths. And seeing if we can feel those deeper breaths as this very gentle wind that brushes against and inside our nose. Seeing if it's easier to feel that brush, sensations of flow in the nose on the in-breath or on the out-breath. And then seeing if we can just have our natural, normal breathing and still feel those very gentle gusts, micro gusts of wind right at our nose. as a way to further hone in high definition on this feeling of flow, free flow. Just picking one nostril, doesn't matter which one, and put our attention there for a couple of breaths. Just feeling what is going on in that one nostril. What is the subtlest feeling of these flows of air that we can feel in that nostril? And then now giving our attention to the other nostril. Seeing what it's like to hone in to the degree that this free flow is no longer a concept, something we are thinking we might be feeling, but actually such a micro, tiny, brief, free sensation of flowing air. And then relax the sense of attention in that one nostril. Notice if any gripping crept into our practice as we brought our attention to finer feelings of flow. And to balance that, you can even just imagine that you're sitting beside a beautiful flowing stream of water. Maybe it's this babbling brook in a peaceful forest. And we're just sitting beside it, just like we would have this natural appreciation for this ever changing, ever flowing, babbling brook. If we were there beside such a flowing stream of water. And maybe for a moment, just listening to the sounds that are around us with an openness, almost as if they are the musical sounds, ever changing, of a flow of nature, which they are too. And then returning to this sense of this breathing wind, this stream of air that flows in and out of us, as if we just get to sit beside it. and enjoy its stream of ever changing flows as it too babbles along like a babbling brook. Approaching the breath here less as my breath or my tool for concentration or anything like that. Approaching it so simply as this flow of nature. This free flow that's never stuck. Where the tiniest brush of that breathing wind in our nose is a reminder of the feeling of that. And extending that all through the sense of a stream coming into us and the stream of air flowing out of us, all this flowing stream. And as a way to help us feel less in our heads, we'll feel especially the breath coming in and down into us. So on the in breath, feeling that breath coming in and down into our body. And now on the out breath, we're going to let ourselves feel this downward cascade from the chest. So if you'd like, can take our sensitive fingers, as we often do, and just align them on the sternum and between the ribs. And just on the out breath, begin to notice a settling undulation that happens as the breath comes out. I was feeling how the sternum is the first to release, and then the rest of this downward wave happens through our fingers. As our rib cage settles, and we release the breath. And we'll come back to this, but we can try for a couple of breaths just as an exploration of feeling the down of the breath coming down into us as we breathe in, and then as we breathe out, feeling the down of this downward cascade of our torso. We breathe in, and the air comes down into us, and breathe out, and there's that downward cascade down the front of our torso. And so both on the in-breath and the out-breath, we feel a sense of down flowing, down flowing. Continuing to have that sense of just down flowing that can help us settle more into our body and out of our head. And it can release the arms if you'd like. Breath flow and body flow, all free flow together. And let's come up to stand and enjoy this a bit in movement. And so coming to stand, and raising the arms so that we embrace this large sphere in front of us. And then flipping the hands a little bit skyward and scooping down the inside of the concave sphere, coming to embrace the outer of that sphere, and then embracing down the inside. And beginning to bring in the breath, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and out. And especially as we come down the middle, that sense of the down flowing through, and can even exaggerate slightly, giving the side view, that sense of concave of the sphere through the whole torso. And enjoying 3 more, breathing and moving together. And just noticing how it feels. Flow of breath, flow of body, and bringing our hands to our physical center. And for a couple of breaths, just seeing if we can feel both the free flow of the wind at the nose and the same free flow, yet more grounded and feeling in our body with our hands resting at our physical center. And just will highlight a couple of things that we were balancing this practice so that it can become a way that you, in your own practice, can bring in what feels best for you. And so sometimes focusing, concentrating on a very small part can help us really touch into that tactile, tangible sense of that micro freedom of flow. Really beyond our perception, it is so micro. So we can open to that without limit. But sometimes as we practice, we can tend to want to grip and narrow on something that is so small. And so can counteract that with a sense of more feeling the whole body and the movement and the flow of the whole body. And especially that sense of the downward flow. Whenever we can notice a downward flow, such as the wind coming down into us or the cascade down the front of our body, those are opportunities to feel that sense of less being caught up in our head and more coming down and feeling into our body. And finally, one thing that's helpful about this practice of free flow is that ultimately it's not something we have to balance. Yes, our approaches to feeling free flow is something we balance. And yet we can open to feeling free flow fully, and it will always help us because that's just the underlying way that things are going on. And so we don't have to balance that free flow with something else as if we could take that too far. We can appreciate and enjoy the free flow of what we could call our inner nature retreat, the stream of our body, the stream of our body mind, as much as we'd like. So with that, thanks so much for practicing with me. Take care.